no is not an answer. Or
Yeah.
like shutting it down is not an answer. Or screwing people over is not an answer.
Yep.
And so when you know that it's a non-negotiable for me, like, no, we are gonna kick ass. We are gonna thrive. And we're gonna do great things. Why? Because I know what I'm capable of. Like, I haven't even reached. I'm at like a 3x out of my 10 of where I want to be, and because I know that, I know there's so much more to give, so many more people to help, and I haven't reached. My whole goal is to become the best version of myself and reach my true potential. And I can only do that by going all out every single day. And because you never know when your last day is gonna be your last day.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I want to go hop in that helicopter. I want to go do that trip. I want to go do that experience. I want to go start that business. I want to go, land that big deal. Like, dude, what are you freaking waiting for, man? You might be gone tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like, get your shit. Like, let's go. And so so I wake up like, dude, it was like, Jason, like I said, Ritalin, Speed, Monsters, Red Bull, like all day long. Like, why do you do that? I'm like, dude, because because I have so much to get done. And I don't know when my last breath's going to be. I might be 95. I might be 45. I might be 37 in 2 months and a day. I don't know.
Welcome to Flying High with Cam.
Yeah.
A podcast where I combine two things I love.
This is insane.
Interviewing the most successful people I know
You're the baddest guy in town.
while flying helicopters.
Engine failure.
Fly with me. I want to hear your stories, learn from your experiences, and build a community. This is Flying High with Cam.
All right, welcome to Flying High with Cam, where I get to do what I love, fly helicopters, and interview some of the most successful people I know. Today is not going to disappoint. I got my boy Jason Payne with me, $12 million, State 48 Roofing. You guys are freaking crushing it, man. Everywhere I look, I'm seeing your billboards, I'm seeing your trucks. I went to Legacy the other day. You were on every single TV. I'm like, what the heck, dude? I need to do this.
Let's go, baby.
Can't wait, man. Dude, I'm going to be honest. Like, for a while there, I didn't know. We met each other a couple months ago, and you had me out to one of your events, which I loved, and I love what you're doing. I want to get into that. But for a while, I'm just like, who is this guy on social media that's so confident in what he's doing? And now that I know you, I'm like, you're just trying to help people, and you're just trying to put your name out there, but most importantly, like, you just want to help people not make the mistakes that you did. And I think that's really cool, man.
Yeah, it really comes down to when, God gave you a voice, and you need to use that voice to help bless the lives of other people, and in return, you'll be totally fine. But you know how it is in shortcuts, right? Like ethical, legit shortcuts in business. If I can learn to, like we talk about KPIs, right? Like, I didn't know what a KPI was until I actually owned my own business.
Right.
But people don't know what that is, and the struggles and the heartaches and overcoming that, and building a 8-figure business in 4 years, you learn a lot really fast, and you learn and you fail a lot really fast. So you just basically get a microphone and just tell people where you just sucked a lot, and then tell them not to suck at those things.
Don't suck at that. Talk to me about your $100 dinner, man.
So the $100 dinners are super cool. So Keaton, that lives in Utah, if you know Keaton, Jimmy Rex, Sean Whalen, some of those guys up in Utah, they started it years and years ago. It's a huge thing in Utah, and it wasn't really a thing down here in Arizona, and it still isn't. But I went to I think you were at the Limitless Arena event.
Yeah.
And they challenged everybody there to go and do it. And they said, do it first of the year. And I was like, no, that's too slow. I'm on speed, Ritalin and Monsters,
all
at the same time. And I'm like, that's too slow. Like, I'll fall asleep by that time. So that was in, I think, September. We had our first one in October.
Dang.
And basically what you do is you get a bunch of friends together, and it can be anyone. It doesn't matter, white, black, purple, business owner, it doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah.
And what you do is you go to, normally not a chain, like a small mom and pop type restaurant, and you just go and you have dinner. Everybody pays their own bill. And then instead of giving your own individual tips of 20% or whatever you normally tip, everybody brings a crisp $100 bill. And then everybody gives it to me. And so after dinner, they're paying all their bills, and you'll see the waiters and waitresses' faces. Be like, dude, there's no tip on here. It'll be like $0. and some of them be like pissed. And you're talking anywhere from 15 to 40 people, right? So It's not like, 3 people. It's a big group, and sometimes there's 2 of them and no tips. And so they're like, what the crap?
So you tell people beforehand, hey, on the credit card bill, when you pay for your meal, put 0 on there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, I was like, dude, just pay, if your bill's $24, pay the $24, and your tip is literally a big old fat zero with the cross through it, and move on. And we'll go and tell the managers beforehand, so that's pretty cool. We'll go and tell them and be like, hey, we're going to be doing this thing and whatnot, and we have them pick the employee that they want to serve. So, because you don't want somebody that's
person,
right, not somebody like, this is my 4th day here. This is awesome. Thank you so much.
Right.
Someone that's either fallen on hard times, right? One of them, we ironically did a single mom that just found out she was pregnant. Just kind of those type of things, or it's not always people that are always on a low. Somebody that's freaking worked their butt off and deserve it.
Yeah.
Right.
Hey, this person's been with us for 3 years.
Yeah, just puts in the work, shows up, like I said, never calls out, and so we let them choose that 1 or 2 people to serve us, and then we get out, and then when we're done, we bring them all together. We have them come sit down and say, hey, thank you for letting us serve you, and then I literally tell them what we're doing, and I was like, hey, put your hand out. I want to give you a tip. Put your hand out. They're like, oh, okay. And I put it out, and I literally start counting. I pull it out of my pocket, and they're crisp $100 bills. So you're just like, bam, bam, bam. And anywhere between 15 to 40 of those bad boys, and they're bawling their eyes out, and everybody there's bawling their eyes out. And one guy we did it for, he's like, hey, this is super cool. Thank you so much. This will go towards my car. And I thought like spinners for his car or aftermarket exhaust or speakers. No, literally to buy a car. He rides his bike to work.
Oh my God.
And I was like, so I'm bawling my eyes out. I'm like, dude, like the best dinner, you eat 30 dinners a month, by far the best dinner of the month, hands down. And you get to network with people, you meet new people, and bless the lives of other people. And it's super fun. And you just do it once a month. And so I just took it on nobody made me do it. I don't get paid to do it.
Yeah.
But it's really been a huge opportunity to, bless and help other people along the way. You got to eat dinner anyways, right?
Right.
And so separate yourself from that $100 and give it to somebody else that can. They'll never forget that. It doesn't matter if they're 15 or 20 or 25 or 55 and they're waiting on you. You do that, you will never ever. They'll never forget that night.
Well, what's cool is the people that are donating the $100 too will probably never forget it, especially if you go about it doing it the right way, which it sounds like you are, and that's giving it to someone that's like deserving on hard times or has worked there for a very long time. I don't care who you are. If you're handing them $1,500, bro, like that's huge. Like that means a lot.
Yeah, because I did the average for this. We've done 4 or 5 already.
How you doing with motion sick? You good?
Oh, yeah, I'm good.
I'm kind of going crazy here, but
No, dude, go for it.
Okay.
Yeah, if I open the window to blow chunks in a minute. No, no, just kidding. But yeah, it's super cool because with the $100, like you're for 5 people, 15 people, 20 people, your tip is still only just a few $100. Yeah. Right. Accumulatively with everybody, but when you're popping
most of the time they're having to split it too, right?
Yep. Yeah. Oh, and depending on if you do it on a credit card, you don't get all of it. You get taxed on it. The restaurant gets a cut of it, right?
Yep.
And I tell them, the restaurant does not get $1 of this. And that's my thing too. Is like, this never happened.
Yeah.
And I said, if you're cool with that,
you go to the business owner and say that.
Yeah, or the store manager. Yep.
Dang, man. So is the best story the one where the guy wanted to fix his car with that money, or what's the best story?
So that was a good one. That was probably number 2. Number 1 by far was the gal. I don't know if she was single or married, but super young gal, early 20s at best. And we didn't know, she didn't tell us, but we went to Casa Reynoso on Valvesta and Rey.
Okay.
Ever been over there right by the water and ice? And we go and do the whole entire thing. I think hers was probably $14 to $1,700, somewhere in there.
Okay.
And she starts crying. And she didn't tell us this, but the restaurant manager later, as we're leaving, gives me a hug and says, "Thanks, man. She just found out, recently that she's pregnant."
Oh man.
And she's like, "That'll go a long way towards, diapers and that whole game." So that was it's super cool. Some people almost like they're like, "Oh, cool, thanks," and they move on. And you're like, "Oh man," almost like you won't like if you don't cry, you don't deserve this. It's not the case. We do it no matter what. But some people, it definitely hits heartstrings more. The guy with the car, that was a split one too. That was a big bill. Carlos Reyes, Carlos. He was actually at that dinner, and that one was like at least a $3,000 tip. So each of them got $1,500. And that was the guy with the car, like, "Dude, this will go to me buying, getting a car." And I'm like,
Oh,
Getting like a second car, or like your forever car, your sports car, your dream car? He's like, no, a car.
Yeah.
And the guy's like, no, he literally rides his bike to work. I'm like, no way.
Dude, I love that, man.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I admire about you is your confidence. Break down with me, man, like what's wrong in your business right now? Like, be vulnerable for a minute. Like, what are your stresses right now? You can't tell me everything's perfect.
Dude, my stresses right now are my freaking closing ratios with my sales reps suck.
Okay, so talk to me about that. How did you, one, identify it, and two, what are you doing about it?
So I have a CRM that tracks it, how many leads we go to, and then how many deals we close. So for us, most of the people that call us want us because it's a need, not a want. So we don't get cancellations hardly at all once you set an appointment compared to other industries. But we're flirting between, depending on the sales rep, between 20 and 30% for a closing ratio, which is 1 out of 5. And I'm like, dude, that means if you sell your first appointment at 8 o'clock, freaking go home for the rest of the day because you're not going to sell the rest of them. Isn't that like that mindset? I'm like, that would freaking piss me off. I mean, mine's 50 to 60%, but you're the owner and blah, 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 blah.
Right. Do you pull that card when you're out there?
Oh, yeah.
You do?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, and they're like, hey, let me go run this one. And I'm like, well, you have a 1 in 5 chance of getting it. I have a 3 out of 6.
Yeah.
4 out of 5 type deal. And but that's what, and a lot of it's training, right? All of our sales reps except for one didn't come from the roofing industry. They came from GoDaddy, University of Phoenix, mortgage, whatever. So there's a lot of training in there, and a lot of us, it's a mindset shift of the being content with making 60, 80, 100 grand a year. And well, if I average a 20, 25% closing ratio, then I'll be okay because I can still pay my bills and have a couple bucks extra. Whereas like, well, what if you just doubled your closing ratios? You'd have a few money,
right,
and money, that you could go do some awesome stuff with. But a lot of it's just that not scarcity, but that just contentment of, I only need to sell this much. And so if I as long as I bring home this much revenue, whether I look at
just enough,
8 roofs or 2 roofs, as long as I bring home this much revenue times this commission percentage, because they're straight commission, times this commission percentage, this is what my bills to take home are. As long as this is higher than this number by a little bit, I'm good.
So how are you going to motivate them to want more? Is that setting goals with them at the beginning of the year, beginning of the quarter? What does that look like?
Yeah, it all starts at the top. So I have a sales manager, and I have to put that accountability. So we call it teach, show, and then watch, right? So I got to teach them how important it is to increase closing ratios, because last year, to be honest, we did 12.7 million in revenue, but we bid $30 million of roofs. Sit on that one.
That hurts, man.
Sucks. And I'm like,
that was my question. If you increase just 10%, how much money would you make? And you just answered about $1 million bucks.
2 million, and that's only like 5 to 10%, right?
Oh gosh.
Yeah, and it's like, we got to go look at 7,000 roofs this year instead of 6,000. It's like, no, bro, don't look at 6, look at 5,000, right? Because nobody wants to go work more hours and get on more roofs.
Yeah.
Just be more efficient with the roofs that you've already looked at and go close those. We call it go for no, right? Like the book.
Yeah, because like you're saying, when you're there, I would imagine most of the time it's because they have a leak, because like they have to fix it. They're getting somebody. It's not something they're going to push off to next year, 6 months down the road. They need to fix it, so close it. Yeah,
one of my buddies, Nate Dominguez, who runs all the B&I chapters in Arizona.
Okay.
Super good dude. You need to bring him on the podcast. Super good dude. Very like networking genius.
Yeah.
You'll like him. He and I are super good buddies, but we talk about how, and I still repost it because it shows up on my stories on Facebook every year.
Yeah.
It says, if you don't close that person, your competition will.
Yeah.
They're going to go with somebody. If it's not you, they're still going to go with somebody, right?
Yeah.
They're not going to not get their scorpions taken care of just because Green Mango didn't call them, didn't follow up, didn't close them, didn't overcome that objection, or didn't make them feel good or whatever. They're literally just going to go with X company. And 98% of the time, it's an inferior company or a lesser company in regards to service and all that kind of stuff. But it really comes down to like, do you want it or not, right? And then holding them accountable and setting the expectation of like, hey, this is not okay. I don't want to go spend hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars more on marketing to generate more leads. Let's just fix this huge hole. Like, this is like a cannonball size hole in our boat. This isn't like a leak. This is a freaking crater,
Well, what I found with my people is that, the layup leads or the customer referrals, the radio. But the Google, the Yelp, the Angie's List, they're a little bit harder. So
Sure.
my guys wouldn't even call those leads because they're making good money, like you're saying. And it's like, hey, I'll let it ring 3 times because how we track it is that, we look at, okay, the leads that came in, the outbound calls, and we do our formula. But basically, they would let it ring 3 times because they knew, like, then it cued that they tried to reach out for it, but wouldn't even try to go after it. And so here I am saying, like, oh, we need more leads because we need more sales. And I'm in the same boat as you. It's like, dude, let's just take care of the leads that we have. And so finally, it's funny that you bring that up because that's my biggest stress right now. I told I had to let go of my sales manager. So I brought in the new one and I said, hey, look, I want you guys to contact this lead so many times that they literally yell at us for the amount of times we reached out to them.
Right.
And 2 days in, he showed me a text message. What the heck is your guys' problem? You have reached out to me so many times. I was like, thank you. And I said, did you close them? He said, yeah, we sure did. I'm like, so he appreciates it, dude.
Yeah.
You can't call a lead 15, 20, 30 minutes after and expect that person to be ready to buy, or 2 days later, or just contact them one time. You're not going to make the sell. You need to exhaust that lead. At one point, they needed that roof. They needed that scorpion control. And people are busy, man. They don't have the time. You got to reach out via text, email, phone call, whatever it might be, but you got to take care of the leads that you're bringing in. We spend almost $260 per lead, and a lot of money, about 9 to 10 grand a day on just leads. And if the guys only want to close half of them or a quarter of them, and they're only contacting or not even calling that other, 75%, dude, it hurts you bad.
Yeah. Well, the other thing too is we allow it, and we don't set that expectation, and we show them that it's possible to do it. We just like, hey, go do it, and they're like, okay, but they don't know how to do it. And so it really comes down to with me with the sales guys and my sales manager is like, hey, we have this. Here's an expectation, and we need to make this change in order to stay profitable and stay in business. There's no point in generating more leads if you're not going to close them.
Yeah.
What's the point of even doing it, right?
Yep.
And so it's been huge. But going back to the confidence thing, so we're high ticket sales, right? Our average roof is like $10,000 to $20,000.
Jeez.
Yeah. So that's a average size house. And what it comes down to is the Grant Cardone, right? The GOAT of sales, in my opinion, billionaire. He teaches, your follow up is 7 to 12 times. And I'll go through and I'll track like, hey, did you text him? Did you call him? Did you email him? Did you send him cookies? Did you do a go back? And I literally have a huge follow up sign in my office, and there's 14 different ways to follow up.
I love that.
And my sales reps can't even call me to help them close a deal until they've done it 7 times.
Each 14 steps 7 times.
No. So there's
14.
There's 14 different ways. Yeah. And you can, but some people will only have like 2 or 3, and then they abuse it. Like, what if I call you and I call you and I call you and I call you?
That guy doesn't want to call. He wants to text.
Yeah. What if he like doesn't even? What if he is works at a cubicle and he can never take a phone call, but he's on a MacBook and his text messages show up 24/7.
Yeah.
And you can literally have a genuine, legit conversation via that text message. But we only focus on the common 1 or 2 or 3 things. Instead of like, hey, can I come back to your house and sit down with you and your wife?
Yeah.
Right? Like, do that go back. Dude, cookies, man. Cookies make me a shit ton of money. Dude, we send cookies out all the time. Nobody does it. They're $30 a pop. Nobody
Who do you do it with right now?
I flirt. I try and, I know the Chunk Boys, and so I try and throw them some love. But we use Twisted Sugar. We use probably Crumble the most because they use DoorDash, and I don't have to have somebody go take them.
Yeah.
And so they'll drop them off. They'll leave a note, and we'll be like, "Hey, welcome to the #SexyRoofStatus family," and we'll send them the cookies, or "Hey, it would be sweet of you to call me back." If they don't so we do little fun things there and leave notes and whatnot. But
you'll have to send me that list of 14 things to put up here because I think that I want it because that's useful, and that's just train them and show them like, "Hey guys, there's so many different ways to get this sell, and you need to take care of it. Before I go give you another 200 leads, like, tell me where last month's 100 leads are at, Right.
Well, and the most genuine one, in my opinion, is if you can't do face-to-face and do a go-back, is really is our videos.
Okay, the
So,
selfie videos, yeah.
Selfie videos, yeah.
I
Like
love
that's
that.
dude, that's one of my biggest closing
How
tools.
have you gotten people comfortable with doing that? Because I mean, it's uncomfortable. It's still uncomfortable for me to do a selfie video. Like,
Yeah.
how do you get a in-house salesman to want to send a video?
You just role play with them, and you do it, and you're like, oh, I don't want to do that. Cool, not a problem. Be like this, be like, literally in a sales meeting, staff meeting, or like, hey, you suck at this, you need to do better. What's up, guys? Jason Payne, owner of State 48 Roofing, out here. My boy Cam bought in. Okay, if you want to do big shit, cool shit, guess what you got to do? You need to get around like-minded people that want to go and do big things. Okay, Cam and Green Mango, $24 million last year in revenue. You probably can't even hear me. Totally fine, but that's not the point. The point is by pressing record. Is this weird? Yeah. Like, look where I'm at. Look what we're doing. Like, this is some crazy stuff, right? But what Cam did and what I've done is we have the balls to put our voice and be vulnerable and share our experiences with us. And he's doing his podcast via a freaking helicopter, right? I do mine in the studio. He's like, dude, let's go get in the air. And I'm like, let's do it, right? So don't be scared to press record. Don't be scared to share yourself. And Cam knew about me before we knew about each other. He was following me and already saw me on social media. So the power of social media, press record, baby, let's go. Just like that.
Dude, I freaking love that, man. Seriously.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That's why I'm like, it could come across so. I don't know. It's just so cool that you have that confidence and that you can train your guys on that, because a lot of people out there don't have that.
Dude, it is
And
a
I love
shitload
that,
of practice. So on my Instagram, I don't know if I have service over here, but I think I'm at like 6,000. Let's see here, 6,360 posts. And that's not from an agency. It's literally from my iPhone.
Yeah.
I mean, it was iPhone 4, 15 years ago, but literally just doing it over and over and over again. And then you have that aha moment where you're like, wait, if I take more videos and I do more podcasts, right, and I do these things, then I'm going to make more money.
Yeah.
And I'm going to help make an impact in my employees, right? You have 130, 50, 100 employees. I have 85. And like, we get to bless the lives of those people by pressing record. And those are life skills.
To look at it, man. I love that.
They're life skills too. So,
tell me about. It looks from the outside world, right? Is like Jason's killing it. He's built this business in 4 years, already doing $12 million a year in revenue, which is absolutely incredible. There had to have been a time where like you thought it's not going to work. Like, tell me about that time, if there was one. And there has to be one.
Yeah. So. Well, the first one was we were 5 months in, and we did $1 million our first year, in the first 5 months.
Which is insane.
So we started
Most
August.
companies don't even get there in their lifetime.
Yeah, or decades down the road. So literally we started August 1st of 2019, December 31st of 2019, we cleared $1 million in revenue. And so in roofing, work comp is insane. It's by far the biggest expense. It's over $250,000 a year for me, easily.
Yeah.
Just workers' comp, not liability, not auto, nothing else.
Yep.
And so we told our work comp carrier, right, our insurance guy, said, hey, well, we're going to do probably, I don't know, there's 5 months left in the year. Let's say we do $70,000 a month. That's $350,000. That, like, anybody would be tickled pink, right? I'd be like, oh, let's do it. And I'm like, okay, cool. So that's because work comp is based off your payroll. Right?
Yep.
And so instead of doing $350,000 in revenue, we end up doing $1 million, which is literally almost 3x.
Right.
And so our work comp audit, we only paid for one out of the 3 X's. And so I owed $40,000. Don't forget, startup. You're like, $1 million in revenue. By the way, every single dollar went back to growth and marketing and trucks and
then you didn't expect for that audit at the end of the year that said you owe another $100,000.
Yeah, first week of January, he's like, so we did an audit for you, and you owe $40,000, and it's due in like 11 days.
Yep.
I'm like, holy shit. And so I talked to my wife, and I talked to Dory, who was my office manager at the time, now my COO, and I was like, hey. And both of them looked at me and said, dude, you'll figure it out. Like, you're a figure it out guy. Just go get it done. Like, no, to me, no is not an option. No is not a question. It's not. And so I still to this day don't know how I paid for it. No idea. It just,
it just worked out.
Yeah, but there's a bunch of books and whatnot, but people talk about when there's no plan B, like if people have a plan B, plan A gets really soft.
Yep.
And gets like, kind of pushed to the side. Like I was talking about, well, just like you and I were talking about on the Zoom call earlier today, right? You have 5 companies, and if one of them tanks, you still have 4, right?
Yeah.
That's like real estate, multifamily. You have 35 doors and 5 people don't pay rent. Who cares? You still get 30 checks.
Right.
But you have 3 houses and one of them doesn't pay, you're in deep crap, right?
Yeah.
And so that's kind of how my thing is. Like, dude, I like all in. That's all. I wanted to entertain restoration and gutters and literally other even pest control, right? All service, blue collar stuff. Same homeowners, same houses, right? And I'm like, no, dude, like go deep, don't go wide. That's what Nikki T, my business partner, taught me, and Tommy Mello, like garage doors, freaking 220 mil last year.
Crazy, man.
In garage doors, that's not even a high ticket. Like, I mean, it's high ticket compared to others, but like, your average garage door is like $3,000 to $5,000 max, right?
Crazy, man.
It's crazy.
Tell me about. You told me the story about how you incentivize your employees, the Italy story.
Yeah.
Do you do that with everybody, or is that a one-off situation? Like, talk to us about that.
So I get this. I always give credit to Brandon and Natalie Dawson from Cardone Ventures. They're good buddies of mine that live in Paradise Valley.
Okay.
Billionaire, have their own jets. Crazy successful. They're partners with Grant, and they teach a thing called PPFs. And it is a non-negotiable in my coaching business and now in my roofing company with all of our employees. So PPFs are your personal, professional, and financial goals. And what you do is when you really, I call it give a shit about your employees, and you really make them feel like $1 million, is you figure out what their goals are, right? Like, hey, Lexi, what's your goal? Like, what do you want to do financially? Like, what is it? If you're married, if you're single, if you have kiddos, you're a single mom, single dad. Like, what are your financial goals in the next year and the next 3 or 5 years? Like, what are those? Like, I want to buy a house. I want to get a car. Maybe I want to get a newer car. Right? And you write those down, and you go and you revisit them, in my opinion, once a month, but an in-depth 60 minutes every quarter.
Okay.
And you do the financial part because you want them to continually make more money. You'd be like, hey, you're going to work here for the next 10 years, and you're going to make 50 grand, and you're going to get a $500 raise every year, and you're going to make 55 grand in in 10 years. Like, who would sign up for that? Be like, no, I'm out. Okay. So you want them to always be doing that. So financial. Then professional is within the business, right? A lot of business owners, you and I both know this, a lot of business owners have capacity issues. They do not create room for their employees to grow and go vertically within your business.
Right.
And they hit the capacity issues, so they'll go to a bigger pest control company or a bigger roofing company, a bigger whatever company, because they hit a capacity issue in regards to growth within your business, because you're not continuing to grow and scale, so you can't hire more people, promote more people, create more divisions, more departments.
Right.
So you have to sell them on the vision of, you're here right now, you're making $14 an hour. Ask them first, where do you want to go? What do you want to do? You're in sales right now. Do you want to be a sales manager? Do you want to go into production? Do you want to go into marketing? Do you want to, what does that look like? And then create a game plan in order to execute that within the business. So now you can hold them accountable. Be like, hey, you're slacking off here and here and here. Remember how you talked about you want to be the marketing manager?
Right.
Well, you're doing, out of these 5 things we talked about, you're doing 2 of them really well. These 3 you're really struggling with. Let's work on these 3 the next 90 days because I want you to be the marketing manager that you said you wanted to be. And you basically, not to be a dick, but you really use their goals against them as leverage and accountability.
You're just reminding them of what's important to them. Because so many people at the beginning of the year say, I want to lose 30 pounds. They go to the gym for 3 weeks and then they get out of rotation.
Right.
And you need to remind them, like, hey, remember when you talked to me and how you were so excited to lose 30 pounds? Like, let's go back to the gym. Yeah. And so I don't think it's being a dick. It's just reminding them what they wanted. But I have a question for you. If they're at $14 an hour and they're wanting to make $16, $18 an hour that year, are you creating different ways for them to make that through, more work, through reviews? Like, are you looking for different ways? So then you have like 3, 10 different programs that you're doing with individuals to find that money? Or is it no, hey, you're making 14. Once you become a manager, then you'll make that money? Or what does that look like?
Yeah, so each one's different because each role only the value and the pay is only X number of dollars, right?
Yeah.
And so different ways that you can incentivize people. I just say, hey, look, like if for marketing, for sales, call setters, I go back to their PPFs of what makes them tick. So instead of like, I want to make $2 more an hour, it's like, okay, $2 more an hour realistically is maybe $5,000 a year or whatever that number is.
Uh-huh.
It's like, well, what would you do with that $5,000? what if I could not? What if I don't give you a $2 raise and I give you $5,000 cash today? Like, what would you go spend it on?
Yeah.
And they're like, well, I'd pay off this, I'd buy this, I'd get out of debt, I'd whatever. Okay, cool. So let's not give you a raise. Let's keep you at your $14, $16, $18 an hour. And let's set up metrics every 90 days. And in 90 days, 60 days, or 180 days, once you've hit these metrics, then I'll just give you the $5,000. Or I've literally had my guys, hey, give me your login and your password to your credit card or to your bank account
I'll pay
to
it
go.
off for you.
Yeah, I'll do it because you give them $5,000. Then they see that and they're like, well, then it becomes a lustful transaction, right? They're like, oh, well, I can go do this and I can go buy my new shoes and my new my new watch and my new this and my new that. It's like, no. You told me 180 days ago. Yeah.
Dang, man, I love that. So basically, you're just saying like, hey, if you do your job exceptionally well, like I'll just bonus you that.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, and from personal experience, you go from making $14 to $16 an hour. Did you change their life? No, you didn't.
You helped them out a little bit, but you didn't change their life.
Well, $2 an hour, 40 hours a week, that's $80, right? 4 weeks, that's $320. $320 might be like a little bit of a nicer car payment, right? Or maybe a nicer meal instead of cheaper meals,
Right.
But like, we're trying to get way past that. And when you give somebody a lump sum of money, as long as it's controlled, you can make a bigger impact instead of $2 an hour, because that $2 an hour gets absorbed into their normal monthly cost, like psychologically, and then they're gonna be like,
Doesn't
well,
mean much.
the $2 didn't really move the needle, and so I want more. Instead of like, hey, here's $5,000, go to Disneyland for a week. We're gonna pay for you to be gone the entire week, and here's $5,000 to go buy your tickets and go get the freaking $90 churros and all that stuff.
$90 churros.
They'll never forget that Disneyland trip, right?
Dang.
They won't. So, but you have to ask them
man.
and figure out what makes them tick.
I love that, dude. Well, bro, I appreciate you coming on. Is there anything else you want to talk about, or how do people connect with you?
So Instagram at Jason the Roofer. And dude, I've never been in a helicopter. I've always wanted to come. I see you doing it, and I'm like, dude, that'd be cool to go one day. And you called me, and you're like, hey, next Tuesday or Thursday. And I'm like, okay, let's roll. But what it comes down to is, and what you're doing really well, I really want to hone in on for a couple minutes, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
The power of self-confidence behind a camera, right? You don't need Gary Vee and have a $20,000 a month budget for a camera crew, or the Brad Lees of the world that have literally in-house media people. Most people can't afford that ever, or until further down the road, right?
Yeah.
But literally, when you understand that these social media platforms are literally free, like Instagram doesn't charge you $1.
Right.
Post as many times as you want, follow as many people as you want, engage with as many people as you want, for freaking free. And they even help you. They literally give you an algorithm saying, hey, you like this dude that's black, brown hair, tatted up. Cool, we're going to send you people that's black, brown hair, and tatted up. And we're going to give you more people like that. Or, other business owners or property managers, whatever that looks like, whatever you're searching for. They literally have, with AI and tech, they are literally showing you what you can do there. And so it's free. Like, we generated over $3.1 million in free organic social media posting last year.
Dang.
Literally, just like that video I did right now,
sick. Yeah.
but me not in a helicopter, me up on a roof. And be like, hey, does your roof suck? Call me. Hey, does your roof suck? Call me. Hey, do you have scorpions? Call me. You have scorpions? Call me.
Dang.
Look at this ugly scorpion. Look at this ugly roof.
Yeah.
Here's my phone number. Call me. But you have to be consistent while doing it. But dude, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, right? You need to be on all those platforms at least once a day, every single day, in a compound. Because I just said I have over 6,300 posts.
Right.
I don't just sit at home and do 10 posts a day. I started that literally in 2010.
That's so
and it
sick,
averages to about 1 post a day.
Yeah.
That's all. But then just stay consistent with it, and then other people, you'll get followers. You can follow more people, and look for opportunities to go find new people, meet new people, shake people's hands. Even as introverts, you still need to know that by doing that, it'll make you successful and make you more money. Because for some people, getting behind a camera, they'd rather do anything else other than press that red button, right?
Dude, that's me to a certain extent. Like, I told you, Tim, like, doing this Zoom call for this group of people, like, one, I feel like I'm throwing a party and I hope people show up.
Yep.
But two, like, I just hope I can bring value to them. And of course, after, it's always not nearly as bad as you thought, and it was great. I loved it. But that's why that's why you've inspired me so much with what you're doing. You love your brand, you love your service, you're passionate with your people, you're passionate about what you do, and you want to help people. And I can see that, man, and I love that.
Yeah, and just tell your story.
Yeah.
Like, what do I talk about? My dude, talk about how, well, that's what I did with you when you came on to our mastermind, right? Like, hey, tell me your story. You know,
Yeah.
me and Dusty were broke for 7 years, and my dad came in, and I almost turned it all over to him, and bop, 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 bop.
Yeah.
So you tell those stories because, one, it's relatable. That's the best part. Like, that's why I connect so much with you. It's like, you're blue collar, you live in the Southeast Valley, you overcame the same things I did, but you're doing double the revenue that I am. I'm like, okay, cool. So Cam has already overcome certain obstacles that I'm literally tripping over. He's like, oh, yeah, just, move left, or like Mario Kart, right?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
move left, don't hit the little mushroom guy, move left, move right, and you're just a lap or two ahead of some people. And the other thing, too, dude, is don't look at Cam's success versus Jason's success versus whoever's listening to this.
How about
Their
that?
success. You're all just in a different chapter. One chapter isn't better than the other. You're just in a different chapter. But don't stop. Don't write
that.
the end of the book too soon.
It's so easy to judge yourself. Oh, this guy's there. And social media isn't always what it is, and that's why I want to just like share the good, the bad, and the ugly of what's going on, because entrepreneurship is hard, man. Like, it really is. But you just got to keep showing up. Like, I don't know. I just told myself every day I'm going to show up and I'm going to pay that $40,000 bill. I don't know how it happened or what, but I kept showing up. It wasn't from sitting at home.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and the other part too is a lot of people, small business owners and entrepreneurs, they're scared to hire people because it makes them show up when they don't want to. And when your bills are only your bills and you and your family, there's not a lot of risk and there's not a lot of commitment, right? And so, but when you have a $100,000 payroll every Friday, you don't get to not show up. You don't get to not hustle and sell more roofs and do more pest control and do those things. And these team members rely on you to make sure that, at 12:01 a.m. on Friday, that direct deposit hits.
Yeah,
so that keeps me alive. It keeps me motivated, even when I don't want to be, right? I know that waking up, I got 85 people that I got to wake up and feed their families and pay their rent this month.
So how do you deal with that stress, man? Because that stress is real.
I don't want to say I don't think about it, but like literally no is not an answer. Or like shutting it down is not an answer. Or screwing people over is not an answer.
Yep.
And so when you know that it's a non-negotiable for me, like, no, we are gonna kick ass, we are gonna thrive, and we're gonna do great things. Why? Because I know what I'm capable of. Like, I haven't even reached, I'm at like a 3x out of my 10 of where I want to be. And because I know that, I know there's so much more to give, so many more people to help, and I haven't reached, my whole goal is to become the best version of myself and reach my true potential. And I can only do that by going all out every single day. Kobe Bryant, man, like, I hate the Lakers, still hate the Lakers, even when the Suns and Lakers are going back and forth. But like, I absolutely hate the Lakers, but I loved Kobe because Kobe went all out, and he's gone, right? And so like a lot of us, we put our lives on cruise control.
In a helicopter, bro.
So what?
He's gone in a helicopter.
Yeah, he's gone. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that was bad timing. Bad story to share. No, but. You know what I mean? Like, he went all out for his wife and his kids and his career, right? By doing that, and because you never know when your last day is gonna be your last day.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I want to go hop in that helicopter. I want to go do that trip. I want to go do that experience. I want to go start that business. I want to go, land that big deal. Like, dude, what are you freaking waiting for, man? You might be gone tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like, get your shit. Like, let's go. And so so I wake up like, dude, it was like, Jason, like I said, Ritalin, speed, monsters, Red Bull, like all day long. Like, why do you do that? I'm like, dude, because I have so much to get done, and I don't know when my last breath's going to be. I might be 95, I might be 45, I might be 37 and 2 months and a day. I don't know.
Well, what you've been able to accomplish in 4 years, man, you can see that you're hustling, you're grinding, bro. And that's what Tommy says. Like, hey, I'm not any smarter than anyone else. I implement quickly. I learn it. I see what it is. I go. I don't wait 6 months. I don't wait 3 months. I go. And that's the difference between people, that are successful and not, is they go.
Yeah, decision making, right? Like making decisions very, very quickly. And that's a lot of people, especially with your phones and cameras, they're indecisive, right? People making decisions on big tickets like roofs, a $15,000, $20,000 roof. They've never made that investment in their entire life.
Right.
But that's all we sell, so we don't know anything different.
We don't know, yeah.
You're like, dude, 15 grand, let's go fork it up. And you're like, time out.
Hold on.
I've never done this before in my life except for a house. And even then, that was like their down payment at one time. And so when you have to entertain that, you have to help them overcome. A lot of homeowners are indecisive with finances and with purchasing and with money. You have to help guide them through that. That requires a crap ton of self-confidence, especially when you're younger than them, right? To say, hey, be like,
15 is no big deal.
Yeah.
And you're 10 years younger.
Be like, dude, you have $1,500 in your bank account, Mr. Sales Rep. Yeah. And you know what? These dudes will fork out 15 G's.
Right.
Like, that is a massive amount of self-confidence to do that. But honestly, practice, role play, and do it over and over and over and over again. And then that self-confidence comes. You're still going to trip and fall, right? Even just finishing the Zoom, they're like, did I finish the Zoom link good? Yeah. I'm like, bro, hey, like, my 30 minutes is up. I got to go somewhere. Peace out. Bye. Click. Yeah. Right? It's free. It's free, right? Just press the stop record button and you're done, right? So, but another thing too, when it comes to small business ownership, man, you want to, done is better than perfect.
What do you mean by that?
So done is better than perfect. Like, the people, like for a podcast, I got to have the right neon signs and the right right lighting, the right cameras, the right this and the right that. If you fixate on that so much, like, people do that.
I didn't know what you meant when you texted me that.
Yeah. When I said it to you?
Yeah, I was like, okay, like, I guess
like, what the crap does that mean?
I don't know what that means, man.
Yeah. No, like, just the thing I did right now. Yeah. Because it's so loud, we can hear it in here, right. But my phone's not hooked up to here. Right. So they probably hear me just going, blah, 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 and they're like, a squirrel, right? And so what it comes down to is, because I did that, like, I can't redo that. Yeah. Right? You get one chance to do it, and one take. I didn't say, oh, that was a bad one, let's do that again, Lexi. No. They call me one take Jason. Like,
hey,
no matter any videos to do.
Perfect. I love that.
Yeah, do one take. He's like, oh, let's do it again. I'm like, no. Dude, my family pictures take like 11 minutes.
Yeah, my wife wouldn't love being married to you.
Yeah, like nope. Why? Because done's better than perfect. Oh, this person, like, the lighting or the makeup or the squinting of the eyes. Dude, it don't freaking matter. Like, put the freaking picture in your house and move on. Send it out to your 500 friends for Christmas and let's go. And so that's that's something that's really helped me as well too, is like doing the one take, because people will do take after take after take after take, and I'm like, dude, you just did 15 1-minute videos and you only got one out of them. I did 15 1-minute videos and now I have 15. Who's gonna win?
Who's gonna win?
Business is math, man. And I just smoked you because I did 15 1-minute half-ass videos. You did one great one. Cool. My 15 are gonna smoke your one. And because I did 15, I get more confident, right, as you go. And so it's really cool to, so yeah, one take. And business, money loves speed is one of my, I steal these from all my mentors, right? I think Grant Cardone said that, maybe Tommy Mello. Money loves speed, you know. But the one take thing has been huge for me, because people just get so fixated on the right angle, the right camera, the right lens, the right this, the right that.
That's probably the best advice you could give one of your salesmen that's uncomfortable with sending those selfie videos. It's like, dude, I don't care what it is. Just let them know you're caring about them and that you're sending it to them.
Yeah. Yeah, the homeowner doesn't care, you know, if you have a zit on your forehead. The homeowner cares.
They might relate to you a little bit more.
Yeah, they're gonna remember you, get attention, right? But yeah, that's what it comes down to, man. You just gotta just put your head down. Guys give up too easy, right? We want things for free. We don't earn it. We don't want to put our feet in the trenches, and that's something that I was blessed with. How old are you?
35.
35. Okay, so I'm 2 years older than you. So a lot of us, we learn from the boomers, but then we also have the tech, you know, we have the tech behind us. And that's what I love. Like the old school, like go get a shovel and go break a sweat.
Right.
That's like that plus, but do it with an iPhone too, and document yourself sweating, you know.
Dang.
But if you can do both, but a lot of us, like, you know, you built your company, but nobody knows that you built your company. Like we talked about before, like Green Mango. And unless you're in the Southeast Valley, went to Gilbert or Highland or live, you know, in Queen Creek, you probably don't know who owns Green Mango, right? Or who owned it. And so, there's other people that like, oh, this guy, he's a roofer, he does this and this and this. I don't know what his company name is, but I know who he is.
Yeah.
And that's just the power of personal brand. And when you get your personal brand out there, man, it doesn't matter where you go, because your personal brand goes with you everywhere.
Yeah.
You sell Green Mango and you move out of state, people will still follow Cam Bodden. Yeah. They won't follow Green Mango because Green Mango stays in Chandler.
Right.
But when you move out of state or you start a different venture or whatever, they're like, oh yeah. And the credibility, the trust that you gave to them during that transaction of roofing or pest control.
Right.
Now I'm doing gutters. Now I'm doing auto glass. Now I'm doing pools. Now I'm doing security. You get to take that trustworthiness and that credibility and transfer it to your next venture because of your personal brand. But if you put it all into your business and not in your personal brand, it'll stay with your business.
Dang, man.
You guys mentioned the Italy story, but didn't like pay it out.
Oh, yeah.
So if you want
Dude,
to mention that.
yeah. So one of our employees, one of her goals is her parents are getting older, and I think if I recall correctly, her mom is actually losing sight, so losing her vision. And I don't know if it was her idea or her mom's idea, but one last, for lack of better words, big trip, big hoorah before she basically goes blind and can't see it, and benefit from that, right? And so because we did our PPFs with her, and we found out what makes her tick, she's like, oh, I want to budget for this, because when somebody that's not making a lot of money wants to go on an Italy trip, those trips are thousands and thousands, if not tens of thousands of dollars. It's not like a couple $100.
Italy, come on.
Yeah, like just the plane tickets are thousands of dollars, let alone while being there and all that stuff. And when you're gone, you're not making any money either, right? And so it's a big expense. And so because we asked her, hey, what makes you tick? What are you getting excited for? What's your next big thing that you're going to invest in, or your big trip with your family? And she brought up Italy, and I said, what does that look like? And it really came down to her telling us about that's. I didn't know her mom was going blind. I didn't know that her parents are getting older, and that she had this trip, until we literally interviewed her and we asked her and we said, hey, we'd love to help contribute to this. Now, there's several things you can do. You can cut a check for the entire trip, but if you do that and you have 150 employees, that's a lot of checks.
Everyone expects it.
And then it's an expectation, right? And so these interviews are private, and I always tell them, do not ever tell anybody. You can tell them after, but don't tell them the dollar amount. Whether we give you $50 or $500 or $5,000, don't tell anybody. It's between us, and respect that, right? And so we do that, and so that's what we're doing. Is she's going this spring, actually. She's going in a few months, and we have her on a.
So what did you make her? So what was her? Can you tell us what her position is, and then kind of the incentive that you gave her?
Yeah, so she's in marketing. Okay. And we basically, I didn't even give her metrics to hit anything. I just said, okay, put your head down for the next 90 days before you go to Italy, and we'll help you out.
Simple enough.
Yeah. Like, dude, put your head, like, you want to go to Italy, it's a financial burden. I have the finances, you have the burden. Let me offset that burden. What I want you to do is I want you to put your head down and go after it for the next 90 days. And then, like I said,
never worked harder.
Yeah, and we'll take care of you. And she is on fire.
Would you? I mean, do some people take advantage of you in that situation? Because that's kind of vague, right? Like, I'm a very black and white person. Hey, put your head down. What does that mean? Do your job. Okay, they go and they just come in and show up like. Yeah.
So you're absolutely right. So you don't want to be vague because you're setting unrealistic expectations, right, or unmet expectations. And so like one of our production guys has always had bad teeth, like super bad teeth, extremely self-conscious about it. Last year we literally gave him his bonus for the year. We gave him brand new teeth.
Dang. But did you tell him like what he had to do, or you just surprised him with it at the end, or what?
No, because that one he earned.
Okay.
That one he earned. We were planning on giving a raise.
Here's our goals for the year. Yep. If you can hit this, we'll get you new teeth.
Yeah, like always shows up, always stays late, always willing to help, always willing to implement, and very coachable, and just he's been wowing me month after month after month, wowing me, and he actually started having like severe pain to where it was like, hey, I got to get this done in the next like couple weeks because it's taking
imagine. Yeah,
just a ton of pain in his mouth. He's like, I got to get this stuff done. I don't know how I'm going to pay for it. I got to go, get a loan or go ask my parents for money or this and that. It wasn't at the end of the year. It was, probably September, October around there. And I said, hey, how about this? I said, 1, you worked your butt off. 2, you need this help. How about this? How about I think we pay for the whole thing. And the coolest part too is we pay for the whole thing, but I also invited, so he's in production. I invited our entire production team on a different text thread without him and said, hey, anybody that can or wants to contribute and help throw,
cool.
His name is Brent, help throw Brent a bone to get new teeth, right? It wasn't like, I'm going to go get my new Bugatti or my new, a new gun or
teeth.
Yeah, it's literally a freaking, and like something that is very self-conscious, right, for everybody.
Yeah.
And so, literally people on the production team literally threw in, whether it was $10
cool.
or $100 or $1,000, $500, and then we offset that we did the rest. But once again, we found out now. That wasn't his PPS, was to get new teeth. but it's instead of, I always think there's a book on my nightstand. I forget what it's called. It's like 100 ways to incentivize your employees without monetary.
Yeah.
And
what's that book called?
I'll text it to you. It's a huge book. It's thick. It's like encyclopedia thick. And but it just talks about different ways to incentivize your employees and compensate your employees without cutting a check. Because in my opinion, money is cheap. Just like we talked about, going from $16 to $18 an hour, it's like you're really not going to change their life, right? But if you can accumulate what would have been that raise, because right now they're used to the same amount, and so they've set their standard of living according to the dollar amount that they're making.
Right.
But when you can do a lump sum, you know they're living paycheck to paycheck. Why do you think they're all of a sudden going to save the extra $2 an hour?
Right.
Well, like any idiot that knows that they're not going to do that, right?
Right.
But if I can, and I can be like, oh, cool, not a problem. Throw this $5K, put it away, set it aside in a different account, and at the end of the year, boom, here you go. Here's for your whatever thing you're working on, dude. And that's when they don't leave.
Yeah.
That's when your employees love you, because it's not about checking in, checking out, the 9:00. Oh, it's 8:59. I'm not clocking in. I'm not taking that phone call. Or it's 5 o'clock. I'm going home. It's no. We call it the get shit done. How many hours do you work? I work the get shit done hours.
I get the
Get shit done hours. So however many hours it takes to get that shit done, you do it in 4. Go freaking hop in a helicopter in the afternoon. I don't care. You want to go down the Salt River? Go for it. But if
That's
it takes
cool.
you 16 hours to get that shit done, do not be hitting me up for overtime.
Yeah.
Because overtime, I mean, it averages out, right? And people want pay time off. I don't even track pay time off, to be honest, because I don't care. Like, you need a day off, cool. And you want to go on vacation, as long as you let us know, we'll make it happen and set it up. Like, I don't believe in that, because when they're bought into the vision and the goal and whatnot, they're going to work more than they're required to.
Yeah. Dang, man.
But you gotta just figure out what makes them tick. Like, what gets people excited. Some people would never even want to touch a helicopter. You said you got your license at 16. Some people are like, I don't want a helicopter, would never want to buy a helicopter, own a helicopter, or get in a helicopter.
Yeah.
Right? But then, I mentioned a helicopter, and I'm up in the air, and friggin' there's this little 16-year-old Cam waving in Queen Creek saying, oh my gosh, I want to do helicopter stuff. Like, but guess what? There's people that don't give two shits about a helicopter or owning a private jet or maybe a really fast car. Like, you and I both have big lifted trucks.
Yep.
I will probably never buy a Lambo. Why? Because I can't jump a curb with it.
I can't
right?
jump a curb.
Like, and I hit a lot of curbs, so that would be a really stupid thing for me to do, is buy a $300,000. So, like, getting in and if you've been in a Lambo, they're freaking stiff as crap. They're not comfortable. So those don't get me excited.
Yep.
Right? You know Blake Clark in the Pecans?
Yeah.
Right? One of my buddies.
He loves them.
He's got dude. He loves his fast cars, and I'm like, if you gave me one for free, I'd drive it. But like, no, it doesn't make me tick.
Yeah.
Like, what makes you tick, right?
Yep.
And so do that with
Figuring that out.
Yeah, do that with your spouse. Do that with your kids. A lot of my kids love sports, and they love everything with a motor, right?
Yep.
So your dirt bike track in the back. I need to go sneak in one day in the track in the backyard and go do that with my 9-year-old. But like, my 13-year-old wants nothing to do with. I literally have a 125 dirt bike sitting on the side of my house. It's been ridden like 4 times in a year. Wants nothing to do with it. So I'm like, okay, what makes you tick?
Yeah.
Band, percussion. And I'm like, what?
Are you sure?
Yeah, and I'm like, do we need to do a paternity test? Like, what just happened? Are you my kid? And but guess what? Like, I have to. Cool. So let's get percussion and tennis. I'm like, who the freak plays tennis? I'm like, well, freaking Roger Federer and all those, Goodall and those guys that make gajillions of dollars. But so what do? We go buy tennis rackets and we do lessons and we go put in the time and the work and the whole band thing. Like, the band thing is a cult. Yeah. And I'm now part of the band cult, It's just a thing. But when you truly understand that, like, when you figure out what makes people tick and not just a dollar amount, like paying them $10 for a review here and there, cool, like 50 extra bucks for the weekend, beer money or, whatever, right? Or just a nicer meal or an extra gas tank, But when you truly find out what makes people tick and you don't use it on a monetary basis, but you use it as something that they're trying to achieve, that's where you really, like,
you win.
Everybody wins.
Dang, man. I love it. That's why I love you, dude. You're doing it, bro. I appreciate you. Thanks for coming on. Keep killing it. I can't wait to watch you over the next years, man.
Dude, let's do it. We're gonna. I got something in the works that I want to introduce to you, but it's gonna be gangster. We go to the same houses, and we need to be scratching each other's backs where we can all take care of our clients even better. That next level of service. So.
Okay, let's do it, bro. Thanks, man.
Yes, sir.